I'm going to show you how to get a cross-compiler for AmigaOS up and running on your computer quickly. It used to be quite a complicated process. You'd have to compile or build the GCC cross-compiler yourself from the source code in order to get a working system. You'd have to do it from this long list of instructions. Not anymore. Now you can get a Docker container with the cross-compiler installed and ready for you to go. So let's get started. First up, head over to the Docker website and download and install Docker. They have instructions for all the major operating systems. So pick the one that matches your system, follow the instructions. Once you've done that, then we can go hunting for cross-compiler containers or container images. There are a bunch of them out there for AmigaOS. The one that I've decided to go with, Walkero's Amiga GCC on Docker containers. So he's created a bunch of containers for the last 4 versions of GCC, and they come complete with the latest AmigaOS 4 SDK and a bunch of commonly used extras like the MUI 5 dev kit, SDL, AmiSSL, and a whole bunch of others. Which is, whether you use them or not, it's nice to have them ready to go there. Now, to install that, we are going to use docker-compose. What I recommend you do is create a directory on your system specifically for your Amiga projects, and then in there create a docker-compose.yml file and copy and paste this text into there. I'll leave a copy below the video. So what this does is this creates a service or container called GCC 11-ppc using this image. This is Walkero's GCC 11 cross-compiler for AmigaOS 4. And then the volumes lines here, this maps the directory that the Docker compose configuration file is in to /opt/code inside the container. So that means that the code that you put inside your Amiga projects directory will be visible to the GCC cross-compiler inside the container at this path, which is good because if the compiler doesn't have access to your source files, then it can't do anything with them. Right, so next, open a terminal window, cd to the directory containing your Docker compose configuration file, and type docker compose up-d. And given that you're doing this for the first time, what it's going to do is it's going to go online and download the image and build the container for you. And you can see my computer's doing that right now. It's done. We have our cross-compiler container. Now we can enter it by typing docker compose again, and this time exec GCC 11-ppc, the name of our container, and bash. So we are now starting a bash terminal inside the container. And if you look at that, you'll see the directory with my docker compose file is visible from inside the container. So let's build some code. I have some code ready to go, so I'll just cd into there, type make, and I already did it. So let's clean that and make again. And there you go. I have just built some code using the cross-compiler. Now, when you're writing code for cross-compiler, you want to make sure that the build script or your make file uses the correct cross-compiler. With this container, if I type GCC /version, you'll see that GCC is already mapped to the cross-compiler. Normally that's not the case, and on something like a build server, you might have multiple cross-compilers. So in your build script, instead of calling GCC directly, add the ppc-amigos- prefix in front of it, in front of GCC, not just GCC, but the G++ compiler, strip tool, adder toolline, and all the other tools. What that does is it makes it very clear you want to use the PowerPC AmigaOS cross-compiler, not a native compiler or for anything else. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You now have a basic cross-compiler for AmigaOS set up on your machine. You can fire up your favorite code editor and get to work. Of course, there's plenty of room for improvement. For example, wouldn't it be nice if you could build the code directly from within your IDE? For example, build it directly from within VS Code. And what about efficiently copying the built files to an Amiga for testing? And you can do both of those. In fact, watch this. I'm now going to build and then install it on my Amiga 1 X5000. There you go, it's copied across. I can switch to the Amiga and run and test my code. There you go, it's working. That's enough for now, so I'll show you that in future episodes. The next one of which should appear over here. If it's not there, then be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified as soon as it's out. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.